Underwater beach to do some snorkeling. I'm up on the kind of bridge. It's been like 3 hours of driving. The hot sun, no air conditioning, and my 36-year-old Ford Thunderbird supercharged. Got to keep an eye on the thermostat, stuff like that. Oh, it's a traffic jam, like 20 minutes at the end, right before beach access. That's beautiful. Oh, it's a Saturday. So I figure, even though it's a Saturday, it's like my only day off, so might as well go ahead and fight through the crowds, see what goes on underwater, and I'll see you guys when I'm underwater, I guess. Or you can watch me suit up. How's that? Alright, everybody. Getting ready to get in the water, the ocean. I'm actually at Indian Rocks, not Clearwater. I was here years ago and there was this free parking. And I thought I could do that again, but so much development. There's hotels all over there now. So I actually had to go south of that. I found a place to park, and they have this stupid park by credit card, about $5 an hour. I hated doing that, and it took a long time. It's just so stupid. You got to download an app, put in your credit card. There's so many steps. It took like almost 45 minutes to park. And cost me $15 for 3 hours. It's like $5 an hour. And now, the beach is crowded. Used to be like you could be by yourself, but so people look at you, they're just trying to sit at the beach, and they look at you like you're some kind of freak because you're wearing a bunch of scuba equipment, and they just want to sit there in their little chair. So that's embarrassing. But anyway, this is actually the first time I've done it. But the weight belt I'm going to leave in the car for now to see how hard it is to swim underwater without the weight belt. I had to get, I do have a dive knife. Okay, you never go snorkeling or scuba diving without a dive knife. I also have scissors, metal cutting scissors, because you can get, there's a lot of old fishing lines. If you get a leader line hook in you, you can't come to the surface. The dive knife won't cut it. I've read a couple books about it. You have to have the steel cutting scissors to get free. So, I bought those. I'm supposed to have 2 of everything in case you drop something. 2 knives, 2 scissors. But I'm going with 1 knife, 1 scissors. I'm trying not to go too deep. Just do the surface of the water. But I do have an underwater GoPro. So, I'm taking you with me underwater. And I have the metal detector in the trunk. So maybe later on we can do some underwater metal detecting, but we have to take this one step at a time. Okay.
Hey, it ain't bad.
So first, we're just going to get our feet wet. We're going to do some surface snorkeling, take a look at what's under there, and then we'll advance it to higher levels. And maybe we can do underwater metal detecting, maybe find some treasure, but it's not really the treasure coast. It's most of the treasure is on the east side of Florida, but I'm on the west side of Florida. The reason being, the treasure coast, you can't see the water unless you go way out and have a boat. You can't see underwater, it's too murky. I want to see underwater, so I came to Clearwater. But Clearwater's all commercialized. So now I'm down Indian Rock, south of Clearwater. And hopefully I can see underwater. It used to be aqua, beautiful aqua blue, but and white sands, but I don't know if I'm going to get that today. It could be a little murky. We had some storms lately, but we'll find out. Okay, see you in the water. So initially I was disappointed in the fact that the last time I went to Clearwater a few years ago, the water was beautiful, turquoise blue, crystal clear. You could see straight through it. But this time, I guess it's summer, too hot. The water was a light green. And I guess that's from the algae and the heat. So it was like a really warm bath, the water, and you couldn't see straight through it like I was hoping. It's almost like being on the East Coast where the water is murky. So that was my first disappointment. Well, I wouldn't say that was my first disappointment. The first disappointment was the fact that everything had gotten developed and I couldn't park for free and I had to go all the way down to Indian Rock and things like that. So then the second disappointment was the water. It's too hot, too green, couldn't see through it clearly. But you know, this was an exercise where I wanted to test my fear of going down fairly deep with a snorkel mask and a snorkel. See what it would be like holding my breath and looking at the bottom. So I definitely didn't want to bring my weight belt with me. You know, my body floats to the top fairly quickly, which is what I wanted to just do in case I felt like I was losing my breath, not able to hold my breath any longer. I wanted to just be able to fly to the top. I think the weight belt is better if you're actually scuba diving with the tank. Or you can hold your breath a really long time. So, as you can see, I was traveling along the bottom, and my third disappointment was the fact that there was nothing under the water except water and sand. I didn't see a single fish, anything colorful, no starfish, nothing. Just sand and water, no matter where I went, no matter how hard I looked. So that was disappointing. I mean, I'm glad I wasn't attacked by a shark, but you know, I didn't even see a minnow. So I guess the water's too hot for the fish. And so I went out pretty far. Now, if you go to the bottom, the water's cooler, which is just like my swimming pool. If you go all the way to the bottom of my swimming pool, that's the coolest spot. So, you know, I went out. They got some buoys out there, so if you don't go out far enough, you can just stand on the sand, which is kind of like, okay, we want to go a little past that. So when I went a little past that, kind of did a little drop off, I guess, and I could go down like, I don't know, 20 feet. And that was scary enough, you know, being by myself. But the interesting thing was that I could really feel the pressure of the water change. So when I got to the bottom, it's hard to see, you know, I have to pick out the spot. When you see my hand flip around, then what I was doing was I was going down deep, touching the sand, and then flipping over with the camera to look at the water from underneath into the sky. So you can kind of get an estimate of how deep I was, but you can't really tell. So I'm basically at this point just going topside, getting some air, going back down, seeing how deep I could go, going back up. Getting a good breath. It was really hard on some of the time because my eyes started burning from the salt water. I had a lot of salt water in my mouth, so that was starting to aggravate me. So, you know, there was just too much salt to make it comfortable. But then my eyes kind of adjusted and they came back and stopped burning. So the mask worked pretty good. I couldn't really clear it underwater because without the weight belt, I have to really force myself down, and you can't just like hang in the middle and mess with your mask. Plus, that's kind of scuba diving stuff. You need the tank to breathe, and so I would go to the top and clear my mask, and there's a good shot right there. I turned the camera around for you. So the real shocker, I guess, the highlight was just the fact that when I did go low enough, about 20 feet, I would say, I really felt the pressure and the cold water down there. I mean, it was still just sand and water, but it was like I could feel the pressure like on my head and my body of the water, increasing pressure and getting colder water. And I guess you could say that was the deepest I ever went. I mean, my pool is 9 feet deep, but I know it was more pressure than that, so I'm thinking 20 feet. This watch I'm wearing, I went down low enough where it got moisture inside of it, and it no longer works. Saltwater moisture from the pressure killed the watch. So, you know, the whole thing was like, you got to realize I wanted to take the scuba diving step to another level. So it was almost over $100. I mean, I make minimum wage, so it was $100 in gas, $15 to park, all day. I had to pack the equipment in my car. I had to drive there in the heat and the traffic, sit in traffic. I mean, I got a sunroof, but the sun just basically coming right through, blasting. Drove my old 36-year-old Thunderbird down there and did what I wanted to do. As disappointing as it was, but it was also very educational in what it's like to go deeper in the water. And you know, at the end I went and watched Supergirl so I wouldn't get stuck in the evening traffic. And I liked the movie Supergirl. I liked her attitude. You know, some people are saying they didn't like the movie, but I thought it was an excellent movie. Had good scientific science fiction graphics, spaceships landing on other planets, and all kind of stuff like that. Different technologies. So I watched Supergirl, and then I drove back home. Got home late at night. Okay, had to wake up the next morning, which is today. And the thing you got to realize is how much time it takes to make these videos. I mean, before I left the house, first of all, before I left the house, I couldn't get the underwater camera, you know, the GoPro-like camera to work. That took a couple of hours. Then I finally realized that it has a codec problem. In Windows, the files are fine, but Windows don't want to play the files. So I could play them inside the camera. So I'm like, okay, the files are good. It's just I have to work with the computer when I get back. So I had to charge those batteries, pack everything in the car, drive down there. Put everything back in the car, drive home, and that's when the real time drag. So right now it is 10 o'clock at night, and I've been working on this this video since I woke up this morning at 10. That's 12 hours. 12 hours I've been working on this video. I had to figure out. So my editor wouldn't accept the GoPro videos. Microsoft wouldn't accept the GoPro videos. So I finally had to find a program that would at least play them, which is VLC. So I could play them, but then my editor wouldn't play them. I could see them, but my editor wouldn't edit them or play them. So I had to like do Google searches, and then they said, well, you gotta change the codec with another program to make it more acceptable to your editor. So I did that, and then my editor started working with the videos, and I'm like, okay, so we're all good. But I'm like, okay, I want to do a voiceover, right? So I get out my podcast microphone, and well, I also had to unpack the car of all the equipment and organize it. You have to wash everything off with cold water. Well, not cold water, but tap water to get the salt off. So either you go to the pool or you go in the ocean. You still have to rinse all your equipment off. The knife, the mask, everything. It all has to be rinsed. Get the sand off, because of the salt, or either the salt or the chlorine in the pool will ruin your equipment that you paid for. So that all had to be washed. and then organized, put away, and then I went to Sam's Wholesale before they closed to get some groceries, and I had to go to Walmart to get some other groceries. Then I came back and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do my voiceover, and the microphone won't work. Right. A perfectly good microphone, podcast microphone, won't do the voiceover. So that took, I would say, 2 hours. 2 hours to figure out why the microphone won't work. And basically, it's because inside of Windows is one button that gets clicked, which says microphone. It's I forgot what they call it, but it's an option for voice clarity. It's voice clarity. You click it, so you're like, okay, it's a podcast microphone, so voice clarity, right? Well, clicking that button makes it not work in the editor, and so it took me like 10 Google searches, reloading the program over and over, plugging things in, trying different microphones. They work, but they don't sound right. They sound like you're in a cave or something like that. So finally, the microphone started to work. And so finally the microphone started to work. See, even now I just had an interruption because I didn't click on the right button. But anyway, we'll see how that works later. So finally, I think I'm climbing out of the water at this point, getting back on the beach. So finally, I got the microphone working. But even though you get the microphone working, that doesn't mean it's going to do the voiceover correctly. There's more things to click on, more buttons to push, more and more. And then finally, I think I got it working right. And that's 12 hours. 12 hours of just sitting with the editor. Okay. But I mean, I guess I learned. You know, everything is about a learning experience for me. You know, I had to learn what it's like to snorkel, learn how to use my parking app, or their parking app. I couldn't do it. It's strange because, you know, God works in mysterious ways, but there was a woman there, 2 women, they were loading up their minivan to leave, and I started complaining. And then she took my phone and helped me get through the app. I couldn't do it. There was so many buttons, so many passwords, so many. You finish one screen, you start over, the phone starts over. You can't see the phone. The phone is on, like, it's overheating from being in a hot car. So it's dimmed out. You can hardly see it. And it's like, I can't do this, man. It's just too much. I'm overloaded with this cell phone. I don't even have good eyesight. For small little letters. And she took the phone out of my hand and she pretty much got me about 9/10 of the program done. And all I had to do, she said, here, just put in your credit card. And she left, and then it wouldn't take my credit card. It was like a nightmare. Okay. So, because I clicked Google credit card, and it wouldn't take it. So I had to go back, get the credit card out of my car, put it into the cell phone one letter at a time, number at a time, and then finally it worked. And I bought 3 hours of parking for $15. I mean, that was just such a miserable nightmare. Just that, like, right. And I had just pulled up after being in the hot traffic. I'm hot, I'm miserable, I'm tired, and I got to deal with this parking app before I can do anything. Before I can even park my car. And there's another guy there in a pickup truck writing tickets to people who didn't pay. Like, that's his job. And it says on the sign, $100 fine for not paying to park. And, oh man, this world, I'll tell you, everything is like, you can't even, well, I saw a sign in Clearwater. It said, beach access parking $30. I'm like, $30? I know if I drive down, it'll be free. So I just kept driving and driving and driving and driving south to Clearwater. And I'm like, okay, I know there's some free ones down here. Keep driving and driving and looking. I'm holding up traffic, driving and looking and driving and looking. Finally, I see the places that used to be free. So I pull in there, and then there's signs where you got to pay to park. And I mean, it's just so commercialized now. It's just, they've just killed it. They killed all the joy. So, so anyway, I finally took care of that. I finally got to snorkel. And eventually I came out of the water, went back in, swam around some more, got back out of the water, went and got my lawn chair, my beach chair. Sat in the chair for a while, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my towel and I'm just gonna take a nap. So I laid down in the sand. I took a nap. It was really nice. It was really nice because, you know, when you live in Florida, I mean, you live in Orlando, right? There's so many tourist attractions. There's Disney World, Sea World, Universal Studios. I haven't been to the new Epic Universe park. And you got the beaches at, you know, Cocoa Beach is 45 minutes away. Clearwater, hour and a half, 2 hours. It took me 3 hours with the traffic. There's actually a cop writing somebody a ticket that caused the whole highway to be stopped so they could look at the cop with his flashing lights, his undercover car writing a ticket. It's just, it's just miserable that these people, well, you know, I mean, they're all riding in an air-conditioned car, and the sun is blazing. So, I'm the one that's miserable, basically, and they're all just relaxing in their air-conditioned car. So, I'm finally getting out of the water, and the editing is just so much time. I mean, there's so many other things I wanted to do today. Work out, go jogging, or play tennis. But it's editing. So, you know, I mean, all I ask is to subscribe, like, follow, whatever. Whatever to make, you know, one day I could get paid. Now, see, I realize that when you say that you're going snorkeling, that you want to see crystal clear blue water. You want a coral reef with colorful fish and, you know,
big fish swimming by and all of this stuff, octopuses. And I agree, you know, that's what should be happening. But, you know, I don't have that kind of experience. Like you gotta go, I gotta go somewhere where there's a coral reef, like Key West. I'm gonna have to look up where the coral reefs are. And I think it's only gonna be good if the water is cooler so that the algae dies off. So all of that's coming in the future. You know, this was just an experimental, what's it like to snorkel in the ocean? What's it like to swim down pretty deep? You know, it's just experimental practice. We do it one step at a time. But, you know, I don't know if you caught at the very beginning. So I have a couple of scuba diving books that like people almost died because they got hooked by a leader line. Like one is the guy that wrote the movie Jaws, and I think it was after the movie they wanted him to go in those cages with the great white sharks. And he, I guess they broke through the cage or whatever, were dragging him down. The shark was dragging him down into the deep with the leader line stuck in him, and his knife wouldn't cut it. And there's another one where a guy was just working on a boat at the dock, and when he got hooked by the leader line, he couldn't get up to get any air, and he wound up having to rip the hook out of his wrist, or he was gonna die. Those were two choices: to completely rip a fish hook out of your wrist, where your people slashed your wrists and bleed out, or just suffocate underwater. So he ripped the hook out, and people came and helped him. Actually, that happened to me when I was a little kid, to tell you the truth. When I was, I don't know, I guess 4 or 5, I was chasing a ball in the house, and I went through the plate glass window, slashed my wrist. I got a scar. It looks like I'm Jesus with where they put the nail. And my mom put a handkerchief on my wrist and ran out in the street, and a trash man took me to the hospital in a trash truck. So I have respect for trash men. And I actually did trash work for temporary service. Slung trash. I think it was, what's his name? When the UFC fighters used to sling trash before he became a fighter. Oh, George St. Pierre. So I guess I'm in good company. So anyway, he said from then on he never goes in the water without the metal cutting scissors. Scuba metal cutting scissors. You can buy them on Amazon. With 2 of those, 2 dive knives. Because there's all kinds of fishing nets and fishing hooks and fishing lines and all this stuff. So, anyway, that's where I hide my key there for you, so you know. And under the hood. So, anyway, that's in case any of you are ready to move to the next level of snorkeling in the ocean. That's pretty much what you're going to expect. So I guess we'll end it there and call it a day. Take care.